This is till May 29th, 2023. Believe it or not, you still hear him scream off in the distance. Psycho bitch. Complete psycho bitch. You know, go back to that March of 18. Does he think it's funny bringing her here? And then rams her body in the back of the booth, and her parents are talking about Dave, and Dave denies knowing them. They were part of the mean parents that were part of this. I told you, we were married 33 years. Dave worked from 5 p.m. until either 3 in the morning or until 5 in the morning. Come home, get in bed with me, and we'd sleep till 11 in the morning or noon. Get up, we go see the grandkids, take them out to eat, or go over and help clean their house. We would go boating. We would go. He was big into concealed carry. We'd go shooting. We would go for rides. We'd go out to eat. Sometimes we just cuddled on the couch. We've been married 33 years. It was our life. So for him to go out and find somebody that would help get rid of me for good, where would you find a human trafficker, a drug trader, especially in 18, especially in this area? You would have to go to a really bad bar or a strip club. This little 18, 19-year-old girl, mean parents, and they're willing to kill and destroy to get what you have. See, Dave made over $110,000. That old house we had at Lenox, we had lived there for years. He could have just gave it to me. The payment was $560, $650. I paid more than that rent. Or we could have sold it, split it, and give me a little bit of alimony, moved on, bought him and the whore a thing, and they want to go off with their drug traders and their prostitutes and have a wild life. Go ahead and do it. Go have your life. Leave me alone. You don't want to be a married, stable man. Go off on your own. You think you're going to have your midlife crisis in your 60s. Go for it. So he had 17 girlfriends in high school. He was manipulating 17 women. They all got together one day and sat and talked. They realized they were all dating the same guy. They all broke up with him. He always still asked about it. They stated when I was married, oh, I gave up that life for God. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Do you realize these people are willing to kill and destroy? They're psycho bitches. They didn't just want my husband. They just didn't. They wanted to destroy me for the fun of it. The prostitutes, strippers, drug cartel. Because why on God's green earth would you touch me? Why would you mess with me? I have nothing to do with you and Dave. Can't you just be happy with you and him? Seriously. You do realize in 17, we had got that big loan for the driveway and for the renovations of the house. We only put 45 in the back driveway, 2,000 bathroom. He took 500 back. He got an $1,800 bonus. $6,000 disappeared from the safe. Right after that, my car started getting scratched up. Long ways. I could hear voices as up renovating the house. We had a ton of money. And we got a security system, even though I lived there for 25 years. If they're that close to the house and they're scratching up my car, we got a security system. Had my 50th birthday. Everybody was there. Melissa even sat next to me. And the kids had relay races, and it was a really nice party. I had asked Dave for a date night. I asked him to stay home from work and not work midnight so we could have a night of cuddling, go out to eat and go to church. And my birthday was on a Wednesday. And he did this on a Tuesday. And I said, well, what about Wednesday? And he told me, you're ungrateful. I said, no, the party was lovely. He bought me a big 2.5 carat ring. And all I wanted was a date night. He screamed at me for 3 days. And every time I tried to call him at work, he'd scream and hang up. I think that's when he went out and met the prostitute. Okay? Well, By September, John and Mel got in a fight. They always fought. They spent half their marriage broke up, or at least the last parts of it. They break up and get back together, break up and get back together. And they went back to the church to fix their marriage. I told them not to. They'll break them up. Oh, they're not like that. It's like, yes, they are. And by November, I found him crying in the changing room, October, November. I got up in the middle of the night. You know how sick this is? He made love to me that night. I got up and he's crying. And I'm like, who are you talking to? No one. Rivers of tears. He grabs me, squeezes me, puts his head into my body. And I kept saying, I can't. I said, what can't you? And I'm wiping his tears. He squeezes me, he's shaking, crying horribly. I went back to bed, he goes to sleep, I get up, and I call that number back, and a woman's like, just do it. Okay. Well, he was leaving to work early, and I tried to get Dixie to follow him, because I had a white SUV and it sticks out. Thank God she didn't. He called me one night, Karen, I'm in trouble. I said, why are you in trouble? I crashed a machine. I said, so what happens? I get a drug test. And he said, I said, so I get drug tests all the time. We're supposed to be Christians. And he said, you don't understand, I'm in trouble. He had been exposed to pot around somebody doing pot so long and high they had to make sure he didn't participate. He got suspended for a week. He bragged to our grandson, Daniel, enjoy grandma now, you won't have one after Christmas. Okay. I made him cry. He was only 10. I told him cut it out. It was scaring him to death. I had to call my mom. I had to call Terry to calm him down. All right. Well, he came home from work. That day I had tarred around the house. We had old 1938 windows around the basement. You had to pull the plexiglass off, slid down, turned the electric off, and came out and killed me. But I tarred that day. I couldn't get the old hose up. Popped it up with a rake. And when he got home, we got in bed. We turned the security system on. I hear pop, pop, bang, bang. The puppies are screaming their kennels in the basement. I'm going to go look. No, I'm not going to go look. And I kept looking out the windows. I didn't see anything. Well, eventually, everything went quiet. So I curled up and went to sleep. Next morning, the plexiglass is cracked and not broke. The tenants pulled down, looked like they fell over the rake. We called the Perry police. He made a mistake with them. They knew what the security system was. And it said a bunch of other things, and that cop was all over. Okay, by Christmas, Mel's family was going to be out from Florida. So we had bought the kids' bikes they had asked for. And we went to go over there, and they weren't home. We called them. We got permission to leave them in the house. We made great big name tags on them from Grandma Karen and Papa Dave, or Grandpa Dave, and to each child, and left their gift cards. We came back either that day or the next day. They were having a buffet dinner, and I asked him, I said, did you like the bikes? They said, why would we thank you? Some other lady bought them for us. Okay, and they make fun of Dave for having pot in his system. By March 18, our house is up for sale. Bill German was our realtor. He wouldn't always be in the area, so he let me show it. Well, I talked to Dave all the time on his breaks. And I told him, I said, I'm done over an hour and a half early. I went to drive out to Bond and get some coffee and get some air. I said, I'm going to leave in a little bit. He said, let me know when you leave. I said, well, give me about 10 minutes. So I went and got cleaned up, and I went to leave, and I called him. He's like, Karen, go Lincoln Way. I said, Dave, I was going down to Bailey. Go Bailey, go behind Watson down to 12th Street, or go down to General on 12th Street. Why would I want to get on the highway to cut back over? I said, go Lincoln Way, and he's screaming at me. I'm like, fine, whatever. I've lived there 25 years. I can jump Lincoln Way. Go there, it's open. I'm like, sweet. There is, I jump 5 lanes, and there's a car sitting at Avis. The next car over, the next lane, road over, it gets right behind me. And I thought, the other lane's open. That's weird. So I move over, he moves over. I'm like, that's weird. I go to turn down the he goes to turn, and it clicks in there where the security system was. I thought, if it's just in my imagination, I'm going to turn and go back. And I had just got a bigger black SUV. Within like a month or two, I have my foot on the brake, my wheel turned left. One car goes by, 2, and hits me doing over 45, and he gets stuck between me and the building. Okay. The Perry police show up and said, you know, the way he clipped you on the side, he was doing over 45 and he would have rolled you if you wouldn't have that foot on the brake. He said, I know he's up to something. I can't prove it. I can't let you go home alone. So he calls Dave, has me call Dave and tells Dave he has to come home. I go over to my daughter-in-law, Jets, and Kaylee's over there. She's like, well, you know Savannah. I said, I know of her, but I don't know her. What do you mean you don't know her? And she looks at me real weird. I said, well, I know her mom and dad, but they went up to that other church a long time ago. They come visit our mom and dad at this church, you know, at that other church. I said, I see him, and I see him sitting there at the church with them, but I don't know her. I know of her. What do you mean you don't know her? You know her old boyfriend was big on drugs. I said, what does that have to do with anything? So I looked her up, and it was her Facebook friend. Okay. Well, I go to help Terry clean out her apartment, and worked on it for hours, and she goes to walk me out. Oh, before that, we had went to a restaurant. It was empty. There was a couple over in the corner, an old couple behind us. A young blonde girl walks by me, gives me like a saint look, sits down behind me, grabs her body in the back of the booth. Does he think it's funny bringing her here? And I said, Dave, you know her? He's like, I don't know her. And our parents start talking about Dave by name. I said, they sure do know you. He said, I don't know those people. And she keeps ramming her body in the back of the booth, having a mad fit. And I said, can I sit over with you? I said, who are those people? And he's like, I don't know them. They were a set of the mean parents, and that was one of his girlfriends. Now, he didn't go to work till 5. Where would you find a drug trader or human trafficker that would help kill your wife? Strip clubs. Especially in 18. Are really bad bars. Okay? Well, I go to help Terry clean out her apartment. She walks me out. A white van pulls up. Side door goes open, tall white man, black hair. I got her. His hood goes up over his head. I'm like, go back in the building. I already had the back trunk open. I had been loading up boxes I had in my hand. I threw them in, slammed it down. She picked up her walker, almost ran in that building. I run around my car. I look up, make sure she got in the building. I look back, he's still coming at me. I jump in my car, I throw it in reverse. He hit the back of my car. She got away, and he lunges around the building. Her mouth, she's like this, looking, watching the whole thing as I peel out. And the van chases me for a while. Okay, that's the Detroit Boys' kidnapper. We put our stuff in storage and at our son's Danny's because they kept changing dates on the house of the closing. So we were lucky enough to close on both days. The second day we're up there, we go down to get a load from Danny's in the evening. Go down to Walmart, we see John's kids inside Walmart. They come running at us, Grandma, Papa, what you doing there? I said, buying curtains for the basement. What do you know? I don't know. We got a moment in time, we pass each other. We go to leave days like, I'll follow you. He always makes me follow him because he's got the trailer, and I'm not going to argue with him. There was a car starting. It was a white vehicle this time. It goes to pull out ahead of me in Walmart, Maslin. And on the way, narrow back way from Maslin, that car turns completely sideways and blocks the whole road. Out steps jeans, cowboy boots, tall white man with black hair. Same profile as I got her. I'm like, Dave, the guy blocked the whole road. And then he starts reaching in like he's going to grab something off the dashboard. I said, Dave, I think I'm getting carjacked. I start throwing my car in reverse. I said, where'd you go? He said, I turned down the side road. I said, what do you mean you turned down the side road? And I'm flooring it backwards. And I'm screaming. And this guy's trying to grab something off the dashboard. And I look up and a white car starts coming towards us. He steps back in, straightens up, and peels out. I wail. I straighten my car up and I peel out. He doesn't catch up to me for 12 miles. He bragged to Dixie, my daughter-in-law, that he knew I was getting carjacked, and he left me. The third day, he's so mad. I am not dead. We go to get our bed out of storage. We get back, and Josh and him had built me this canopy bed, and one of the bed slots was about 1 inch or 2 wide. He acted like he picked it up. And I went, oh, come on now. I could pick that up. He picks it up and hits it in the board in the face. I'm spewing out teeth and blood. I'm like, why? You'll learn not to smart off to me. And he runs in and gets in my car and he takes off. I should have called 911. He had been arrested that day. He missed it on my phone. He didn't. I took like $1,200 after our insurance to fix my teeth. I finally had to have a crown put on this. And that's where he met this retired Judge Pete and Michelle. Now I want to ask them a question. Some psychopath that's been trying to kill his wife for a stripper. Why on earth would you involve yourself and not call 911? Some idiot psychopath walks in a store in Ravenna and asks people to help frame and kill his wife. Why the hell would you help out? On the 6th day, we're down trying to get stuff out of storage still. We come home and our door is kicked into the wall. He's looking around, do you think another realtor passed out keys? They can't have keys. They leave it in a lockbox, and we already took the key out of the lockbox. Don't report it. Nothing's missing. That's when they're supposed to took and set up their button cameras. Huh? By the next week, I go out to mow the lawn. I almost pass out. My neighbor, the male nurse, the house before ours on John Thomas, he comes running over. I'm a male nurse. Can I help you? Or I'm a nurse. Can I help you? I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. They have been date raped, drugging me. I was waking up with bruises, giant ones all over. Sick, psychotic bastards and bitches. Who the hell breaks in and murphys somebody, stamps them with amnesia drugs, beats them, rapes them? And so when they come to and it wears off, they don't know what happened to them. They haven't left their house. And they don't realize where are those bruises that come from. And they're throwing up violently. Their heart's racing. They're dizzy and almost passing out. Who the hell does that to a human being? Huh? And why would you? The whole thing is, why would you? Why? I'd like to know why. When that psychopath walked into the store in Ravenna, why the hell didn't they call 911 that he asked somebody to help frame and kill his wife? Why didn't they call 911? Why would you take his money to stalk me and bruise me and drug me and beat and rape me and leave me drugged, throwing up, migraine, heart racing, and then a very bad personal infection because you had been raping me and beating me? Why would you involve yourself? And if Michelle thinks she's the only one, think again, sweetie. Think again. Because men like Dave, he had 17 girls and friends in high school. He manipulates women. And when he's done having fun with me, the first time she smarts off, he'll beat the hell out of her. Now, I'd like to know, why would these people help participate in such heinous crimes? Stalking me. They sold videos of me and Dave in bed. He made love to me all the time. He was probably showing off for the cameras. They sold it on porn sites. They took videos of me in the bathroom, on the toilet. You talk about a psycho, bitches. Do you know how illegal that is? Photoshopping a shower scene. Over 10 people already told on him. And date rape drugging me so I'd be sleepwalking. And tell me to say stuff. But they're drug traders, prostitutes, and strippers. Huh? I lost over 18 pounds from June to September from being drugged up there. Dave, on September 3rd to 6th, he had made a comment that he wanted Katie Brothers. And I'm like, well, if you want another woman, I'll take my things and leave. You're not allowed to leave. Jack and I had this plan since March. I said, you got something planned, I'll just give up everything, because this is crazy. He's like, Jack said you wouldn't give up everything willingly, and we have to do it this way. I go to get a job, they have somebody impersonate me so I can't get a good job. It cost me that job, and when they verified it wasn't me, they tried to give me my job back, but it was too weird. They were leaving, Katie was leaving Threats in the mall with 3 people, that was her church trying to have me killed. And they had a permanent plan to do away with me. I didn't hang up on a phone call with Terry, where I thought I was getting his girlfriend. Instead, I got the churches were taking up $25,000, and they hired 2 men to kill me. And it was Keith Bishop, Stranger Ron, because Ron wanted me dead, because I got well, his kid died. Had nothing to do with the death, and he had nothing to do with me getting well. I was working with a doctor for 7 months before it went into spontaneous remission, which it does 80% of the time. Nothing to do with nothing. I got well 2 months later after that kid got killed in a traffic accident. I had nothing to do with. You talk about misdirected anger, but that bastard that was over that church lied to everybody. She was faking. She was sick and thinking she got well while he was screaming. I had over 6 to 10 surgeries in 2 years. I had fibromyalgia and I had a medication error that made me swell up. And so my legs would go numb. And like the nurse said, it was a medication error. It's a good thing you got off of it and got on pain medicine and got out moving. I suffered horribly. Now, why would these people even participate in this? I'd like to know. For some psychotic, crazed people. It's not admissible. The Fourth Amendment of the House, you have the right to be safe and secure within your own person. Your places, your homes, your personal effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Then it goes into search warrants. No searches, no seizures without probable cause warranted with an oath or an affirmation of the person and the places to be searched and seized. They have to tell you why they're there, give you your Miranda rights so you can lawyer up and shut up. Police and agencies can actually only monitor you in your home under a threat of life with statements. Those people had no right in my home to take days' money to stop me. And I'm going to put it this way, retired Judge P. To find out that you were the one pretending to be Karen's will and that you were telling everybody you were my rich boyfriend. Where the first 2 months I woke up with hand marks, big giant bruises. After that, I just had marks that looked like injection marks. I had, even after the case started, I would wake up in a fogged haze, and a man would walk across the room. He'd lay down next to me and roll over, and he'd wrap his arms around me, and I couldn't see his face, and the room would go black, and I felt safe and loved. You can only rape somebody so many times without becoming attached. Do you realize he's a serial rapist? Dave offered him his own wife. Do you realize how sick this is? He told everybody he was my rich boyfriend. He told them he was the Canton FBI agent. That's Will's girlfriend. He's an older, shy guy that's too afraid to meet her. He thinks Karen's beautiful. And he calls her his girlfriend, and that's sweet. And he told all the guys to make sure she's all right. I still haven't met him. I've seen him, but I have not met him. I had up to 8 injection marks in 1 week. You miss me, don't you, Pete? See, Dave and I were married 30 years. We made love all the time, 2 or 3 times a week, several times a night. Did everything in the world, as long as it didn't hurt. So what Dave got to enjoy being a married man, Pete got. And so he started telling everybody he was my boyfriend. Sick, isn't it? It's a serial raping family, and with a drug cartel and human traffickers. If they pull the case, they will find Dave working with the Detroit Boys, the Kingsmen, a New York group, and a California group, and a group from Florida, North Carolina, and Georgia. You'll get a lot of the drug traders, the marshals and sheriffs picked up the case that agent opened. See, I tried, after Dave held me down how I was to die for his girlfriend, he hired 2 men to come in, one to slit my throat, stab me in the heart, and the other one to shoot me if I ran. Almost got shot in the first 45 days after I called the FBI. Almost ran me off the road. He wasn't lying. You don't do this to a human being unless you're a crazy psychopath. Now, I want you to think about that. Everybody where I called the FBI hotline, September 21st, 18, there's a good chance that psychopath that I was married to called this Detroit Boys killer. He called me, where you at? I'm buying something for dinner. I got a phone call to make. Don't go, and he won't answer his phone. I look up and I realize all the 4 attempts have been them. How stupid am I now? I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I should have went to the police station. But with being date raped, you don't think fast enough. I look up and they're getting flu shots, and I thought, it's not even safe for me to be here. I got a flu shot, I got dizzy, I sat down on the bench, and I hear her voice. I can't believe she's here. It's the same one as I got her when she got away. I'm like, oh my God, he's here. I stand up and I turn my card. He comes up behind me. I stab you right here now if it wasn't for that security guard. Pizza Hut waitress is like, are you going to stab her and get it over with? He said, I won't make it out for that security guard. While they're arguing on, I turn my card into I need to make. I want to open an account and got in front of someone. Pizza Hut lady walks over to the mail banker. I get paid to watch her. You can't pay someone to stop me. You can't interfere in my life. And he's like, ladies, stay out of this. They go back and forth and they scream at each other. And she finally walks off. And the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, threatened a knife me, and walked off with her. And Dave instantly calls me and I put him on hold and won't let him know I did it. I get out my car and I freak out and I drive down to Walmart. And that African American lady spit in my face and her white boyfriend's harassed me. And the other guy with black hair, dark eyes, an eagle tattoo. This time another guy said, what a shame I got away from him. I get home and at that, Dave's in the driveway. He takes me to the end of the driveway. My girlfriend's rich and powerful. Her family owns a place. You won't be able to withstand. I told him it's not a communist country. Nobody owns a place. So I took a day and I prayed. And I called the FBI hotline around September 23rd, 18. The next day, they had drugged me out so bad I was crying in my sleep. I kept saying I can't. And I come to and saying, and the phone's ringing. Who's that? Go back to sleep. And then let it go to voicemail. Wake up later, listen to it. Agent, call me back. I can't go back to sleep. Third day, I make myself get up. And I thought I gotta call that guy back. I'm sitting on the porch. I'm holding my head. I'm like, I feel like I'm drunk and I don't drink. What's wrong with me? They're here. And I gotta get air in my face. And I started mowing the lawn trying to get air in my face. Thought of Sarah. Called Sarah. Of course, I'll witness for you. There was 3 witnesses in the mall where they're bringing the was I'm trying to have me killed. She's like, I'm scared for you. So I went out and bought her card, put that agent's number in it, made an excuse to go to the mall. Her manager put her in the locker, went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. How dare you bring the FBI up here with threats on her life? I walk off. Dave eventually catches up to me. Come in, let's go, or come on, let's go. And I'm get out in the truck and he threatens my life and threatens to kill me and swing at me in the truck till I almost jump out. I ran from him. The next day I had to call that agent back. I tried to tell him what happened. He called me a liar. I said, someone told me on me at that church, you liar. Why wouldn't he ask for the name of the church to verify? Because that's his damn job. I tried to tell him what happened at Huntington Bank. He called me a liar again. Was there a camera above that bench? I don't know. If you don't know if there's a camera above that bench, you don't say you're lying, I'll arrest you. He can't do that. There's badgering laws. He goes to jail for that. I'm like, and he said, I mean it. You either say you're lying or I'll put you in jail. It's like, fine, whatever. He made me plead for my life, listed me informant for life. With even for when you tell, and I open an account with $5,000 a month, and then threaten me if I told someone. The next day, he had a white officer show up, and that's the requirements of the Department of Justice. Be in somebody's home. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. And that's when the protected custody case started. To be September 27th, 18. I already told him Dave and the church people knew. Why would he call me a liar? You know, I didn't believe he was real. And when I caught Dave threatening Dixie and the baby's life, I googled the office and I found him. They yelled out, he's got a list, I'm working on it. And then when I seen the serial killer down the road, and I called him, they said, she's seen that guy, you tell those police up there to get a hold of this. We're busy. They were too arrogant and too busy to work their own case. Then they shouldn't have took it. The marshals would have arrested these people. They were breaking the first month in Walmart that they were using sodium pentothal on me. And that they were telling me all to say all this crazy stuff. They already knew I was drugged and framed. They have admitted to a shower scene in their stocking tapes that are not admissible. April 15th, 1623. Dave finally confesses that he had hired some guy named Pete on his own, and it was only Pete up there. Taping me unaware and doing all those things to me. He cannot hire a stalker to beat, rape, frame and Photoshop me. He had no right in my home. It's illegal to, they try to blame the Porter County Sheriff's. I went out and talked to him. It was none of our officers, nor did we have any knowledge of anybody being in your home. That would be illegal. Officer Reinhardt came over and talked to me. He laughed like a little girl. He said, I don't care what they say they got. I don't care what they say they did. We could never look or listen. It's illegal to be in somebody's home, but protect like cases with statements. Even the FBI would go to jail. Several other police departments said the same thing. The Department of Justice, it looks like as a man's home as a castle. It's not to be entered into. There are legal stalking tapes that can never be looked or listened to. My friend that worked at the prosecutor's office is a fraud scheme. Another guy that I knew that knew somebody who dealt drugs, he went to the drug dealer, and he said all the drug dealers know that I didn't know a bunch of different stuff. And he said it's a drug scam from the drug dealers out of this area. See, they can't do this. We live in the United States of America. Now, that agent retired in 19, and that retired Judge Pete has been telling everybody he's Karen's Will from the FBI. Him and the drug cartel has been impersonating federal officers, pulling this big drug scam with my ex-husband. They're in it with a big human trafficking group. I would like to know from these people. Some idiot and psychopath walks into a store. Why would you help hurt the wife? Why would you not call 911? And where do you think you won't go to jail for this? I have told the Director of National Intelligence and the Department of Justice. They have that agent for badgering, obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses. He can't do this. And like my friend at the prosecutor's office, the FBI can never drop you. Once they agree to protect you, they can't drop you no matter what. And they can't tell you, they can't tell anybody. They don't have that kind of authority. Freedom of speech. And I already told him that Dave and the church people knew. And if he knew about those dirty tapes before, he knew I was being drugged, beat, raped, human trafficked out of my own house under drugs, that they were sex trafficking videos of me and Dave in bed. Huh? And everybody used that bathroom, so they obtained and dispensed kiddie porn, and my grandkids using the bathroom. How much trouble are they in? They're too stupid to realize it. And if that girl doesn't think that she's the only one, are you that nuts? And where did you think being a psycho bitch is okay?